Hello and welcome and Happy New Year. This is Blood on the Severn, Season 2, Episode 1. With me tonight,
Max playing Nandazal of the Ministry.
Peter playing Janusz Kroll of Clan Jimitsu.
Josh playing Carl Frédéric Saint-Jacques de Taureau of La Casa Toreador.
muy bien.
Matilda Wells of Clan Venture.
And that was Alice, even though the audio got lost at just the beginning, but everything else came out. So, this is Blood on the Severn, a Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle set in Bristol, England, now in the year 2017. But, for those of you who need a refresher, or joining us for the first time, welcome. This is a recap of our first season, what has happened, the important stuff, basically. So Bristol is a beautiful city, with a unique and dangerous power struggle. Unseen by mortal eyes, vampires of 3 different sects once fought to control the city, and the wars were messy and eventually proved too costly and endangered exposure of the true nature of vampires in the city to mortal eyes. So to avoid this, the 3 sects, the Camarilla, the Anarchs, and the Independents, bound together in a faction called the Autarkies, they signed a truce that would bring an uneasy peace to the Knights. Now, these accords are the ultimate law for all vampires in Bristol, agreed by the leaders of all the factions, and they are enforced by the library, a neutral party that arbiters disputes and acts on behalf of the city and not of the factions. Now, in the year 2012, the leaders of Bristol's kindred agreed to form, for the first time, 4 inter-faction coteries. Each would have a member of the Camarilla, the Anarchs, and the Autarkies, as well as a member of the library, for good measure. Each of these coteries was given a domain over an area of the city that, up until then, had been a point of contention or a danger to the peace that was slowly being threatened by the prospects of war. Our story is that of one such coterie. Carl de Taureau, the Camarilla Master of Revels from Clan Toreador, Matilda Wells, a free ventrue of the Anarchs, Nanjasel, a ministry smuggler working for the Autarkies, and Janusz Kroll, a gentrified Shemitze on secondment to the library. The coterie is given the Lockleys domain to hold and protect. They quickly start getting involved with the mortal community in the area. Carl organizes amateur theater plays, Nanjasel joins the neighborhood watch, and the Children of the Summer, a pagan cult to Kupala and other Slavic gods, have their base of operations in Janus's Haven. In the meantime, Matilda uses her knowledge of law and politics to try and define the rights and responsibilities of the coterie within the city. At the same year, news reached Bristol of the fall of London. Little is known of what happened, but one thing is certain. Vampires were hunted and killed by the scores and driven out of the city, and their assailants apparently used technological means to find them. The Bristol Camarilla places a ban on all electronic communications for their faction and encourages the other factions to do the same until further information is gained. Now, all interfaction coteries were asked, sometimes coerced, to provide hospitality and shelter to Camarilla refugees from London, which meant that the ranks of the sect would grow far more than the Anarchs were comfortable with. Carl's ghoul sister, Christine, was also fleeing London, and arrangements were made so she could be accepted in the city and protected by Clan Toreador. Meanwhile, Nanjasel confesses to Janice that she felt her connection with the waters had been severed since her embrace, and she found it quite draining. Janice asked her to make a leap of faith and participate in a ritual where the two of them would spend their day sleep on the waters of Janice's Haven. After rousing the following night, Nanjasel had a spiritual awakening and joined the Children of Summer. The 4 refugees assigned to the Lockleys domain, a Gangrel, Malkavian, Tremere, and Ventru, are delivered to the coterie and taken to a communal haven which will serve as a safe house. Annie, the fledgling Malkavian that comes with the lot, shares a vision of her own death with Carl. Matilda finds out that Gareth Davies, an Autarchist Toreador, had been murdered, decapitated in his own haven. Rumors of the refugees being responsible fuel the fires of dissent among the factions. Things take a turn for the worse when Jonathan Fowler, distinguished Ventru of the Camarilla, is found dead by diablerie in Lockleys, with evidence of Tremere rituals being used in the scene of the crime. Oscar Cantor, the refugee Tremere in Lockleys, becomes one of the prime suspects of the investigation. But another shared vision between Carl and Annie shows that the murderer might have been Roger Smith, the chief representative and baron of the Anarchs. While the coterie decided what to do with this newfound information, Matilda meets up with Obasi Kikelomo, Ventru Primogen of the Camarilla, who offers his unconditional help in finding out who killed his friend Jonathan. Matilda is also reminded that he holds a life boon over her, and that cooperating would be the wiser course of action. Nangisel continues the investigation on her own, but comes empty-handed. She discovers, though, that Annie had been using a mobile phone to communicate with Caleb, Obasi's child. It is Carl who approaches Annie, takes the phone from her, and proceeds to chastise Caleb for breaking Camarilla rules. Caleb offers a major boon to the coterie in exchange for their silence on the matter. Back in Janice's domain, the children of summer prepare for celebrations of their faith. In truth, Janice is trying to appease the spirits that haunt the haven. On a very sad night, Carl renews the bonds of the blood with Christine. Her Domitor, had died in London, and he forced her to drink his blood instead. Nangisel finds herself in the middle of a fight in the docks. Fledglings from the Anarchs, Thinbloods even, had been encroaching in her terrain up until that night. The fight goes south, and bones are broken. Maybe someone saw too much. We end Season 1 with Carl being assaulted by a man who burned him with holy water. Janice seeing the ghost of Nangisel's father haunting his domain. Christine asking Matilda to embrace her, and Nange receiving news of a schism within the Camarilla. The Bruya and Gangrel have left the sect and joined the ranks of the Anarch movement. 5 years have passed, and now we find ourselves in 2017. The Anarch faction is pretty much in control of the city right now. Of course, the Camarilla, they will not relent. They will not give up their stronghold. But the Autarchies have managed to become as powerful as they were, which makes the Camarilla's position a difficult one. They lost 2 clans and a number of kindred. They immediately started offering shelter and refuge and domain to any refugee that wished to stay. From those that stayed with the Lockleys coterie, Annie the Malkavian left for Edinburgh. But Oscar, Clarence, and Laura, all 3 were offered domains in Bristol. Using Nangisel's help, given the mutual boons that they were given to each other, he manages to muscle his way into the Primogen Council. Granted, he is the sole gangrel of the Bristol Camarilla, but that has not stopped him from being ambitious. Nangisel will know that permission to sire has been granted to Clarence. He has someone in sight and he is taking his time. Laura right now is part of the Ventru of the Camarilla. And she's using her considerable contacts to try and wrestle some control of the city back. Oscar is made a hound at the direct service of the regent. The three factions also have donated, each one of them have donated an Elysium to the city in an attempt to cool down the emotions, the spirit of the Anarchs, trying to give the Camarilla that, final coup de grace. Each faction sees a place in the city so all kindred can go there, mingle, and be safe. For under penance of death, no one is allowed to break the masquerade and to break the peace. And peaceful is how the waters of Janice's Haven look tonight. It is a week before the spring solstice and the equinox, spring equinox. And Janice still feels the presence of Nangisel's father, looking at him angrily. He can see him right now, standing in the living room, staring back at him.
So, Yash will probably go from the living room to one of the spaces where we. So he will ignore the baleful glares of the ghost, and he'll go into one of the other rooms where the kind of place where when we're going to do any kind of practical work like painting or things like that, that where we go. So it won't be a very nicely decorated or carpeted room. It's a fairly bare space. Mm-hmm. And there he will begin to kind of take out some things. There'll be like a pail of water he'll collect and various strands of rope and other things. And he will, if any of his people are around, he will ask if Nangisel is there and ask if he can speak to her.
So Evelina is around. And before I describe Evelina, could you please, now that this is season 2, we're starting with a clean slate, and there's the possibility of some people join us for the first time, could you please describe Janice to the audience?
Yes, so he is a man of Polish descent. He appears to be somewhere, well, let's put it this way. He's been aged well by his life. So he will look somewhere in his potentially early 70s, but maybe older. He looks like he spent a lot of time outdoors. He has quite a thick beard, which is kind of well on the way to being kind of white. And his hair is also mostly white now, and is worn loose and is quite long and kind of unkempt. He is dressed in kind of natural fibers, loose clothing. He is wearing lots of different trinkets, kind of mostly natural, so things of either bone or wood that look like they've been handmade, and rings and bracelets and things of that nature. He is someone who, in life, was, if you like, quite a broad-shouldered, quite a kind of strong man. And although he's slightly stooped by age, there is a little bit of that strength or intensity that kind of remains. He's not decrepit yet, but it looks like he was embraced on the road to that decrepitude. And he often walks with a cane, and he's quite slow when he's moving around, but he retains a certain amount of kind of physical presence. Yeah, so I think that's probably...
So Janice makes his way to the big kitchen and dining area, space of the house. Evelina is sitting there. Next to her is Falkor, one of the many dogs in the house, a Kovacs, just like Duchess. And Evelina she looks slightly young for her age. Evelina is Janice's revenant, and kindred blood in her veins makes her makes her age very slowly. Even though she's around, well, she is 25 years old, she looks more like 19 or 20. She has long, very straight hair that she keeps in a ponytail, with very pale skin and green eyes, with a small nose and a quick smile. And she greets Janice as he comes into the kitchen. Dzień dobry.
Dzień dobry. I'll put a gnarled hand on her arm and say, Evelina, I was wondering if you could save me a walk and see if Nanjazal is in residence.
Oh, yes. She stayed here last night. I'll go fetch her. And she quickly departs.
Very good.
A knock on the door of Nanjasel's room.
Yeah.
Nanj, Janice was looking for you.
All right. Where is he to?
He's downstairs in the kitchen.
All right. I'll come down now.
Okay.
Thanks, Evelina.
Could you?
So I'll go down. Do you want me to describe?
Yes,
now?
please.
So Nanj has kind of short, dark hair. She is also quite short in stature. She tends to wear very practical clothes, so sort of cargo pants, like a leather jacket. She's got a kind of hoop earring like this, which is in the shape of a snake. On the inside of her wrist, there's a tattoo which says "Stronger than Death," which is one of the things that caused her to be embraced. So don't advise you to do that.
Remember, kids.
Yeah, exactly. And then she wears this pendant around her neck, which is corner sea glass. It's green. Otherwise than that, usually it's a kind of 1980s music tour T-shirt or something like that. And so that's her. So she will wander down to wherever it is that Janos is in the kitchen.
Does she still wear is she wearing the bracelet made by Sane of the Children of Summer? Okay. So it's it's made out of a polished coin in which it's carved a tree in front of a river over a sunrise or sunset.
So. Okay. So I'll go into the living room, into the kitchen. I'll sort of knock, but walk through as I'm knocking, in that way that people do. And I'll say, "All right, yeah."
Ah, Nanjasal, there you are.
What are you after?
Well, if you'll indulge me, you were in my thoughts. So I'll be gradually kind of like winding strands of rope together above this kind of bucket as I'm talking to you. So it strikes me that we are at a time of beginnings, and it is always good to reflect on where we have come from, as well as where we are going. And, well, I was remembering this gift you got me, and I'll hold up the sea glass pendant.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll say, and it struck me that you also wear something of that nature.
Oh, yeah.
It was something to do with your father, was it not?
It was. Well, it's reminiscent of a trip we took years back now. It was just before he passed, as it goes. And I found this when we was together, and after he was gone, I thought it was a nice way to keep hold of him.
Yes, yes. It's important to keep hold of those you love.
Right.
You've spoken of him before, but it occurred to me I don't even know his name.
Oh, well, he was called Jack.
Jack?
He worked down the docks, like, that's why I spend so much time down there, or used to, until I was here, spending time here.
Did you call him Jack, or did you have another name for him?
No, I call him Dad.
Of course. Dad, yes. And what sort of man was he?
Well, he was a good guy. He looked after me after my mum went, like.
A strong man?
Well, he worked down the docks, so yeah. I mean, he was hauling crates around all his life.
I see. Yes.
But he was like me and you, right? He had a big, strong connection to the water.
Yes.
That's sort of where I got it from. I used to sit with him down by the river, look out over everything,
Yes. And
with the river.
Seems that he
know.
imparted on you a great gift. Yes.
I think so.
And
with the river.
And
I mean, not
seems
just
that
this, just
he imparted on you a great
everything.
gift.
He always had the
Yes.
answers, right, to everything. It wasn't like, I mean, not
seems
just
that
this, just it
he
wasn't like
imparted on
he
you a great
everything.
gift.
He was just
He
he always
tried
had
to
the answers,
pretend
right, to
if-
everything. It wasn't
if he didn't know
not
something,
then. But he always looked out for
imparted on
me.
you a great
He always
gift.
had my best interest
tried
at
to
heart.
pretend,
Like you'd expect,
if he
right,
didn't
for
know
a
something.
does doing it.
Mm.
But he always
Yes,
looked out
yes,
for
a
me.
father.
He always had my best
I
interest at
understand.
heart.
But that connection
Like
to the
you'd
water
expect,
is what
right,
has
he
brought you
But he
here
always looked out
tonight,
for
a
me. Right, he
father.
always had my best
I
interest.
wanted to say to you, Nanjazal,
Like
that you have come a long
water
way
does
in
do
this
it.
time already. Your journey through the water. I wanted to say to you, Nanjazal, has changed you, and I would say for the better.
I think so too. I mean, isn't before I met you, I couldn't go back down Cornwall like I did a couple of years back.
Yes. And now you are free to seek new things.
Right, yeah.
And it is good. It is good to look forwards, but never forget entirely where we came from.
It seems that way to me.
Mm.
Why are you asking anyway?
Well, we are preparing for the summer solstice, and it is a time to think of what lies ahead of us, but also what we must say goodbye to, what is behind us now.
Right. I see what you're getting at.
Yes, good. I thought you would. Well, I won't keep you any longer. You were in my thoughts, and I wanted to connect with you for a moment.
Right. All right. Well, I might go reflect on what you said.
Yes.
It's a little while since I spent any time thinking about my dad. So, it brings it back into my mind.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll be off then. If you
Yes.
for nothing. Okay.
I'm sure I'll see you later.
All right. I'll see you in a bit. No, I'll wander off back to whatever I was doing.
Yeah, sure. I'm aware that at some point there could have been like an echo or something, but I hope it has been fixed. If it hasn't been, just let us know on the chat.
Okay.
I tech gold there. Hopefully I fix it. So Janice. So what does Janice do after the conversation with Nanjacel?
So after that, he will go to Evelina and get her help in making a basically like a kind of clay man, who of course will be broad-shouldered in physique, kind of strong, dependable, that kind of archetypical idea of something like that, with a mark as if he's wearing a pendant around his neck,
Okay.
etched onto the clay of something like sea glass. And whilst it's being made, he will whisper into the clay the names of Jack and Father. And he will continue to bind the rope, whispering the names into the rope, putting the rope into the water repeatedly, until such times he feels he is ready to take good old Jack back to some other water to make a connection.
So Janice has been preparing for a while, and the extra little information from Nangisel, but especially the conversation with her, just her presence, drew the ghost of her father near. Now she has gone, and Janice is holding this rope, and he finds it very difficult to leave his presence, as if his unseen strands were drawn from him to the rope. As Janice walks to the river and puts the ropes under the water and continues the ritual, those strands contract and slowly drag Jack, whose ghost now is bound to the bottom of the river, effectively binding him there, holding him there, and removing the anger and the not, it was not a small amount of trouble that he would bring. His anger would be echoed in the people around them. There is, in more than one occasion, the perfectly peaceful Wendy would be filled with ire. And there were other things that were happening in the house, but no more. At least not from Jack. Now that might have worked for him. His presence was strong, and the presence of Nangisel just amplified that. There are still a few other ghosts. A few others that, with unfinished business, still haunt Janice's domain. On a place that has no ghost, which is actually a makeshift sort of a office in one of the rooms of Matilda's flat, she gets ready to meet some of her employees, and air quotes, employees. So could you please describe Matilda to our audience, Alice?
Matilda is sort of average height, quite a slight build. Looks like she's in her early 20s. She's got very striking red hair that just goes above her shoulders. She's covered in freckles. She's not particularly pretty, but quite sort of striking features. She dresses fairly normally. She's got sort of denim jeans on, a nice top, and a sort of blue jacket that matches her hair quite well. And yeah.
Okay. So Matilda goes out to the Knights Templar, close to Temple Meads, to meet in a pub with some of the students that have been either helping or applying to be able to help as interns, very poorly paid interns of your nascent practice.
Yeah.
You see a couple of them. Joshua is around. Joshua is a man in his early to mid 20s. He's tall, about 6 feet tall, thin, with a sort of dusty blonde hair, and the beginnings of a sort of like a scrubby beard, as in keeping it chic. You know he comes from a good family.
Yeah.
And from a comfortable life. But he's quite keen in in doing what you are doing, in helping people that cannot help themselves?
I'll go up to him and say, "Oh, do you want a round? Want a drink?"
Oh yeah, excellent. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. The others are coming. I just got here early.
That's all right. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad. So how does this work? When do we begin? I mean, I know you graduated and you do you, but
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's a bit slapdash at the moment, but I mean, it really depends on how much time you have to give. I mean, if you want to, you can be here every day, although I don't recommend it. It's not going to be good for your health, but you can come and
oh wow,
help as long as you want.
Well, it sounds like you're doing pretty well for yourself. You have that many clients, that much work?
It's not so much how many clients they have. They can be a bit complicated sometimes.
Yeah.
A bit picky. But it's fine. It's. I'm sure you'll be up to it.
Well, yeah. I'm totally down for it. I was wondering because, I mean, this works as an internship, sort of. So that's good for me, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm quite keen on doing this, but I was wondering if how do I break this with the university? Like, is it because I don't see if you're not like a recognized practice yet. How do I get like the documents and the paperwork for the university to accept it as an internship and as part of me becoming?
Get me the documents. Get me the
paperwork.
What you need, the paperwork, and we'll figure it out from there. I'm sure I'll have something worked out with the university. It won't be a problem, and it will be recognised as extra work that you've been doing that's legitimate. Don't worry about that. I'm not going to be just getting you for your work, and not you'll get recognised for it. You can put it on your CV. Well, that does. Who knows? There might be some more opportunities after that as well. I mean, once we have a bit more traction, if you're one of the first on board, then you're in it.
Okay. Well, cool. I'll send them to you. Do you need them like by email or paper printed? I can print them.
Maybe print them.
Okay. And when the drinks are around, because you're having this chat at the bar, it's not too busy. It's a weekday, and usually these places tend to get quite busy later on. You take your drinks and go and sit outside. And while you wait for the others, and he says, "So how was your internship? When you did your internship, how were they? Was it true that you were with Lomax and Kane? And you know that is the front of Obasi's firm.
Oh,
Well, the one that is owned by Obasi. He's not a part of it. He just owns things."
I'll just sort of chuckle a bit and be like, "I was, but I wouldn't recommend them." But you weren't thinking about them, were you?
Well, I mean, they are really like top end, prestigious. They do big cases. Even the small ones are on corporate. I mean, when I say big, it's not like the news or whatever. I'm talking about like big mergers and
Is that's the kind of work you want in the future?
I don't know, really. I don't know because there are many. Like I always thought I wanted civil law, but then that's kind of hit and miss, I might end up like signing marriage and divorce papers for the rest of my life, and I'm not sure I want to do that.
I mean, it's an honest wage, it's an honest living.
Yeah. I'm not dissing it. I'm saying, mercantile law. That is an interesting one. I don't want to get with the penal side of things. I think crime and all that. It's I don't think I have the stomach for it.
That's fair enough. I mean, the kind of cases we'll be dealing with I think you'll get a fair variation of everything. I think you'll have a bit of a wide range, so I wouldn't be worried about being bored.
Okay. That's looking forward
And
to
if
it.
you like a certain type of case, and I can always push that your way a bit more.
Okay. Oh, I would really appreciate it. Although I would rather have more experience, like a broader experience.
You can
Now,
do that. That's fine.
what's the dress code? And this is when you realize that he's wearing a very nice polo shirt. That yes, now that you're up close, it is a Ralph Lauren,
Oh, well,
and he has very good trousers, clean shoes. Like he looks casual. Like
I'll look him up
casual,
and down.
slightly smart, but it's the kind of thing that when you get closer, you realize that the pen that he has, hanging in his polo shirt, it's actually a Parker. So he doesn't have like a big pen or something, So
I'll look him up and down, just and be like, well, that's not good enough.
ooh,
I'm kidding. That's fine.
Okay.
What you're wearing is fine.
Mm.
I don't want people coming up in suits. It's a bit too stiff for me,
Okay, so more
Just-
casual approach. Okay.
Don't wear your tracky bottoms and you're okay.
And I mean, I'm happy to wear like, trousers, maybe a
Trousers,
smart
a nice shirt.
shirt, and maybe a tie if something needs a
Oh,
little
if
bit
you're
of
feeling-
seriousness. Or
Or do casual Fridays if you want as well. You can wear whatever graphic t-shirt you want.
okay, well let's see how this goes. And he extends his glass. Cheers. And you both
Cheers.
drink. There are a couple of other short conversations between the two of you before the rest of the interns show up. And these are also university students. At some point, you need to move, mostly because there is a big group from UWE's rugby team shows up. And for some reason, one of the guys says, like, for some reason, these guys are looking at you funny. What's the deal with that?
No, they're just looking for trouble.
Yeah, let's go somewhere
Mm.
else.
Yeah, let's. I'll get everyone and go. At some point when we go to the next bar, wherever it is, somewhere quieter, I'll make some kind of address and sort of go over the things that I was asked a bit earlier, more generally. And then after a while, then just make it clear that we don't need to talk about work anymore and just let them have a good time.
Okay. And amongst drinks and students, very wealthy students from very good families, Matilda will probably have a snack. Yeah.
Cool. Nice. Sure. I'll just go to the smoking area with one of them and come back.
Now, on another part of the city, Carl receives a phone call. And it is Christine.
Just before Carl
Yes,
receives
please.
a phone call. I mean, obviously, I need to describe myself.
Yes.
And while everybody else was describing myself, Carl quickly sat on his bed in his haven and penned a little poem to describe how he feels at this moment.
Please.
And it goes like this. A beauteous man can hide a fatal heart, with eyes that gleam and see too much of all. Above all else, his passion is his art, which may be his salvation or his fall. Perfection hides disquiet in his soul, as pressures break his family apart. Without his sister, he cannot be whole. Nothing can save him, not even his art. Yet, the eternal night might hide all sin. He contemplates vile and saintly alike. But which way to take and where to begin? He bides his time and wonders when to strike. For Carl, for all his nearly human heart, is kindred first, and will make deathly art.
Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Can you please describe Carl physically?
Physically, well, as the poem says, unlike myself, sadly, he is a perfect specimen of humanity. Speaking as Carl, I would say every time I enter a room, it is my fate to have most of people within it stop and look at me. Something that I have become used to and almost to enjoy. I am the center of attention wherever I go by default. Of course, I will defer to others, but it is something I use to my advantage. I, as you see, am perfectly built, about 5'10", very good clothes, gorgeous, wonderful looking. But my eyes, look into my eyes, and you will see depths that you can be lost in.
And those eyes are now staring at the screen of his mobile. Christine. Paris.
I answer, and sister dear.
Carl, is this safe?
Yes, it's safe. And always a good time to talk to you, of course.
I needed to go over some numbers with you, but I would rather spare you the boredom. I just want to know, have you really been spending this much at the Hippodrome?
At the Hippodrome?
Have you been going to the Hippodrome and spending money there?
It is not somewhere I frequent, as you know. It is rather common, most of the things that go on there. I'm, although I enjoy that kind of art once in a while, it is not my first choice. I don't think.
Well,
I think it's there may be a discrepancy, perhaps.
Yeah, these are odd purchases, and I'm just investigating some money that was moving. Not much. There's nothing to worry about.
Okay.
Angelique wants to know if you have been assaulted again, or have you seen anything towards the people who attacked you?
No, we have looked into it, and they vanished. I think they were put up to it. The one who threw the water was not expecting it to be so effective. I could see it on their face, but I could do nothing. I was in agony, and the others did what they could to protect me rather than to attack or go after the assailants. And they disappeared into the night. And what with the chaos of the two clans leaving on the same night, and there was no following them.
I didn't know that it was I thought that was a thing for everybody. The holy water.
It is our family's curse, I believe.
Yes, I know you have it, but
Angelique told me to be wary of it because I know that she has it.
She has it as well. Okay, and I'm never told these things. It's been difficult, Carl.
I'm sure.
Angelique is very rarely here. She has no time for me, and it hurts.
Well, dear sister, I know how deeply you feel that. not having been the center of attention for our lives. It is hard on you.
It's not about that, Carl. Let's not go there. Let's not make this a worse night. How's Matilda?
Matilda's well. She is rising in the Anarch ranks. I think they have those. Anyway, yes, doing well, and perhaps might even lead them, or lead some of them. I think she has a little plan to help the young people in the university. Excellent.
Well, I'm glad she's doing well.
She is. As are the other two. I know you never really saw eye to eye with Nanjazal. Not quite your kind of person, but yes.
She's scary, and I don't think she likes me.
Well, there are few that she does.
Okay.
And Yanis, although he, as you say, creeped you out somewhat, is also well, and a fine friend, and to be relied on should the need arise.
Being relied on is sometimes I thought that was what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But could you please do me a favor?
Ask it.
Could you please find out when is Angelique coming back from New York to Paris? I haven't.
Such a little thing, of course.
Don't tell her I want to know. It's just I haven't been able to. I want to make preparations for when she arrives. I don't want it to be a surprise. I want to be ready.
I'll let you know as soon as I find out.
Okay. Well, I guess to go back to my evening.
Yes. Are you quite all right?
No, Carl, I am not. Do you know what day is today, right?
Today is our birthday.
Happy birthday, brother.
Happy birthday, Chris.
And the line goes dead. Another telephone buzzes. One of the more reliable Nangicel burners.
Okay, I'll pick it up. I'll find it amongst the pile.
No, it's a text message.
Oh, okay.
And it says, "Why don't you pick up your main phone? It's Ruby. Meet me at the tobacco factory."
Okay, I'll take my main phone out of a drawer and turn it on.
Okay.
And then I'll head to the tobacco factory.
Some messages come and they go like, "Hey Nanj, wanna hang out tonight? Is Ruby? Give me a call. Hey Nanj, pick up. You know."
I'll text back and say I'm coming to the tobacco factory.
Excellent.
I'll be there whenever. Yeah.
Excellent. So the tobacco factory is the theater and school and rentable space in the BS3 area, which is where Matilda and Ruby and we have a mild inconvenience that is coming back to life.
Can you hear us?
Yes, but the video is there.
There we go.
Discord doing its thing. So the tobacco factory in the BS3 area where Alice lives and resides, and the area she is making arrangements to run for representative of.
Okay.
That's also where Ruby, Mitchell, Murray, and not
that's where they live.
They live in the BS3 area. The tobacco factory is in Anarch territory, and that is what the Anarchs gave to the city as an Elysium. So you can walk straight into Anarch territory because you're going straight to the Elysium. So she can meet you close to hers without the need of you having to do a petition for, going into somebody else's, another faction's domain.
Okay. Well, I'll make sure to observe the right protocols.
Yeah, it's basically, there is a specific route that you have to take, and that is basically it.
Wait, do I have to cross the river in this route?
Well, yes.
Because if I do, then I pause to reflect on the fact that this is no longer problematic for me.
You give your thanks to Kostroma.
Yes.
And to Janice.
Yeah.
And move on.
Okay.
The other Elysiums that have been given to the city are the Hippodrome, given by the Autarkies, right there in the center of Bristol. And the Camarilla have given Motion, which is a large nightclub. So we have a theater, a nightclub, and the tobacco factory with also areas. The tobacco factory has also a pub, which is also included. That is the area where you're meeting, specifically in the beer garden.
Okay, yep.
Once you go in there, Ruby is there, surrounded by a bunch of people. And she...
Do I know these people or no?
She doesn't know these people. You know how Ruby is.
Oh.
She's there, and she bought a drink that she barely has touched, but she feels that she has... I mean, it looks like she already drank, but not her drink.
Okay, fine.
So she's surrounded by the people who tend to gravitate towards her because of her beautiful looks, her strawberry blonde hair, deep blue eyes, and very fine. Like, she's gorgeous. She's absolutely gorgeous. And she uses that to her advantage when it's time to feed. Of course, when you show up, she hooks her arm with yours and says, "Let's get a drink." And then you move. Of course, people offer to buy you drinks. Both. She starts dismissing people until you have to dismiss people. But,
wait, I don't want to dismiss people. I'm happy to let them buy me drinks.
I mean, of course, but then they will try to pester you.
Oh, I see. It's that kind of drink. Okay,
yeah.
Fine. Yeah. Then I'll be rejecting those.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But eventually, you both sit in the beer garden on a corner in a small table, the two of you.
Okay.
So, what have you been up to?
Well, I mean, I've been up at Jan, haven't I? I mean, there's a lot of stuff always going on at the house, isn't there? And it seemed to me that it's been pretty full on lately. I think he's you know how he is around the summer equinox. There's a lot of things going on. So there's a lot of things to prepare for.
Spring equinox, summer solstice. You always get them wrong.
Yeah, well, don't tell him I said that, right?
No, I won't. It's okay. I miss going to the house.
Why haven't you been up? You was coming up all the time. What's going on?
Mitchell, he's not all too happy about how I was spending more time with you and the children than I was with him. And I mean,
well, look,
at the beginning, I mean, the conversation I had with him, it made sense. Nanj, I was spending far too much time with you guys, and I felt I needed it, and it was good for my soul.
Right, yeah. I mean, and actually, it's all right for you to take time for yourself, right?
Yes.
That's what you've got to remember in this room.
Yes, but Mitchell said that after 3 years of this, that was taking a little bit too much time for myself, without consideration of other things around me. And he was right. I was neglecting our relationship. I was neglecting my work. I was neglecting my clan.
Wait. Are he's right?
Sorry?
How do you know he's right? He's saying that you shouldn't be doing these things that you want to do for yourself, right?
No,
But-
he's not saying that. He's saying that I'm not putting my life first. And by that, he
Well-
doesn't mean him. He made me realize that I think I have this sort of like obsessive personality. When I like something, I dive into it, and how being around you guys made me feel. It was perfect. It was the balm I needed, my soul needed, but I was going there to the exclusion of everything else. I pour all of my time into the children. I went every night that I could. I talked to every single one. I mean, Sane must have done like 3 or 4 bracelets for me in that time as well.
So what you saying? Because
That during
if you're saying that you,
I wasn't around. I wasn't around when Mitchell's sire came back to town. And
what one?
and it was a big deal. They are very close. They are very, very good friends. And it was a big thing. He wanted to introduce us. He had been out of Bristol for decades. And I wasn't there. And I didn't meet him after 3 months, 2.5 months, almost 3, that he had arrived. And that made me realize that I didn't even make time one night, not even a full night, to meet someone that is important to him. And that hurts, knowing that I can't hurt him like that without knowing. That made me rethink. Like I mean, it's so easy to free up a couple of hours on any given night to meet someone that is special for the person you love. But I guess I just lost myself.
Ruby, this ain't on you.
Sorry?
This ain't on you. This is not.
Come on, how?
Even if it's all exactly like you said it was, right? It is not an indication of some failing in you, or that you don't care a toss for him, or whatever that is, right? The thing you've got to remember is you were a long time, I'm guessing, not doing things for yourself. This isn't just about Gareth, right? This goes back further than that. I mean, I know Gareth is why we got chatting. I know that's what you needed at the time. But there's a much longer term thing than this.
Yes.
And you got to make the decisions that are right for you. Now, you care about Mitchell, I know that.
Yeah, of course, I love him.
I know so. And that's important. It is important. But there is room for both things.
Yes, but how
Right.
can I love him so much and hurt him so bad? Like
You didn't set out to her, did you?
No, but
It's not an intentional thing.
Nanj, I was not showing home. Like, there were times in which a whole week would pass and I didn't see him. And I should have, because we lived together. And I messed up. I messed up bad. And he's a saint for putting up with me. I mean, he supported me and he said that he understood that this is what I needed, but that I needed to take it slow.
So what's he saying now? Because it sounds like something's changed.
No, it's never changed. It's to be fair, it's me. I'm scared that if I go back, and I feel well, and I get to again do the the crowns with flowers with Evelina and Wendy and Sarah, or if Scratch starts doing his weird movements because he's kind of odd, and I will like it, and I will go again and again and again.
Well, all right.
And
I provide you with a solution for that. Right? Listen, hear me out. Sounds to me as it's not that you don't want to do one thing or the other. It's that you want to do both things and not to excess. And that's a commendable thing, right?
yeah, yes, that is exactly it. But I don't know how to do it.
But you
do
can do differently now. You can do differently now, right? You said you're the kind of person what is normally throws yourself into everything, right? So what you need is a good friend. Lucky for you, got one sitting right here. You can help you out with that. Now you say to me, you know what, Nanj, I don't want to spend more than so many nights a week with the children. I'll make sure that's what happens. If I see you there, put you out, right?
Okay.
And you got to understand, this is, you don't need me to tell you. You know it's good for you. It has been good for you.
Yes.
Up until this point, it's been what you've needed. And now you need something different, right? You need time with Mitchell. We ain't going no place. We're still going to be here when you get back, right?
Yes.
There's no issue with that. We're going to be doing all the things you know we're doing. We're always going to be here for you.
I really want to go to this. Really want to go for this. The spring
you should
equinox.
Come. You should come, right? How about prior to that, right? You go and you spend whatever time you want to with Mitchell, right? Just, I don't know, lock yourselves in a room for 3 days, get out your system.
It's not that, and you know it.
I don't know what it is, but whatever it is,
it's just,
you do it.
What I like is that we talk, and we are ourselves. I can be who I am. Hell, I can be whomever I want to be in front of him, and I don't feel silly even.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. I'm certain. I mean, he allows me to express myself in a way that makes me still feel alive.
Well, that is the dream, isn't it?
Tell me about it. She reaches out and holds your hand and says, could you please ask Janice if it would be okay for Mitchell to, I don't know, maybe be around. Yeah, well, he will not want to participate, but I don't want to impose. I mean, he might.
I don't know what Jan thinks about Observer, but I'll ask him.
I don't know. Maybe if he sees how wholesome it is and how lovely the people are, even if it's from afar, he doesn't have to talk to anybody. If he sees what is it that I'm doing, maybe he'll understand a little bit better, and then between maybe the two of you, I can lean on both of you and on Janus and then figure something out, because I really want to go back.
Don't lean on Janus, you might fall down.
And she laughs, and her laughter is music. Like she genuinely gives you a belly laugh out of that.
I'll say, I'll speak to him, because you know the answers, and I'll let you know. And I promise you, I'll have my phone on. And assuming he says there's no problem, bring him along. That's the best answer, right?
What's the point of giving me your real phone number when I still have to call your burner?
Well,
I mean,
it's complicated. It's complicated.
It
but
isn't.
Someone told me that was the best way to operate.
You know what? I'm gonna get you a ruby phone, and it's gonna be ruby red. Okay?
No, I don't want your bollocks phone off.
No, and it's gonna have a Hello Kitty on it, and you will wear it, and it'll have something dangling that I will make myself, and I'll be insulted. But then, you keep that one on. Okay?
All right, but only if we sort this out. So you can be with Mitchell, and you can carry on with us, because everybody up the place loves you, and it's good for you, like it's been good for me, right? I'm gonna ask him, and I'll send you back a message.
Excellent.
And your payment to me will be not to make 2,500 Hello Kitty charms I got to put on my phone. Right?
Just the one. Okay?
Just the one. All right. Well, I'll get off then up there, and you get back to him. Otherwise, he's going to think I don't know, kidnap you away or something.
No, it's okay. He knows that I was looking to have a girls' night out. I was hoping to get Evelina out. I mean, she's old enough now.
I think she's been old enough for a while.
Well, yeah, but she doesn't look like it, and she gets ID'd everywhere.
Yeah, it's a long time since I got carded, I'll be honest.
Well,
anyways, I'll
give her a hug for me.
I will.
And one for Janice.
Right, and don't ruin too many of these people around here, right?
No, I'm actually gonna go home, spend some time with myself, and when Mitchell comes back, maybe hang out.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, I'll be in touch when I speak to him.
Excellent.
Have a good night, Boo.
You too, girl. And she gives you a big hug.
I will hug her back in my practiced fashion.
In your very, very natural hug.
She's not all awkward. And I will. I'll make my way back to Janish's place.
Okay. So during that night, the four of you, during the following night, unless you want to do something important that very night, the following night.
Well, I'll try and get in hold of Angelique for my sister.
And I'll ask Jan about whether or not Mitchell can come, but I don't know if that means a scene.
No, I don't think so.
Likewise.
Yeah, I think that those would be like getting in touch with Angelique. You get a message back from her retainer, giving you expected dates, but they are sort of like ciphered in the way you know. So none of them are real, but you can make out which would be the real date, so you can convey it to Christine. People in the Camarilla are being very paranoid about what they share in electronic media.
Yeah, sure.
And Christine gives you a thanks as a reply over text, and then we can go over what Janices think of having Mitchell as a hanger-on for the spring solstice. But
I mean, I'll explain the context, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The duties of the coterie actually bring you together because you have been you are meeting in the communal haven to discuss a border dispute, which is not your border that is being disputed. Your domain is surrounded by other domains of different factions, and there is one line that separates two domains that ends in yours, and people are trying to move it up and down. It actually has moved in favor of the Anarchs, increasing Jacinta's size of her territory slightly, ever so slightly. But because of the conversations Matilda has had with the cartographer, now that she's tight with at least keeps in touch constantly with the library, and from what Janice knows, Janice knows from the domains, a slight change of a few meters or dozens of meters, moving a line from one street to the next, has a massive repercussion in the total area that is gained, because that line ends somewhere, and sometimes is for hundreds of meters or a mile or something. So by moving a little bit the border here, you gain a lot of territory over there. And that's how people are starting to encroach in other people's territory. Now you have settled that dispute.
What we decided to do was to build an art installation.
Yep.
On the nexus of the three spaces.
Exactly.
We got the community to build this this collaboration of sculptures celebrating this part of Bristol's history.
An amazing idea.
So it was an installation that was placed specifically in one place, and the arm of, I don't know, the explorer who was celebrated points exactly to the border.
Brilliant. And that is a very nice way in which Matilda goes over the records and goes, this is where the line should start. And then Janice and Nanjacel make sure that Janice makes sure that the line starts there and make sure that the domain's rules and boundaries are respected. Nanjacel just makes troublemakers go away to avoid anything. And Carl organizes something in the mortal world to fix it. And over the last 5 years, the connection the coterie has with the community has grown and strengthened. Not only plays, there are art projects, there are classes, dancing classes, recitals, music clinics, people going and coming, a choir in the church. There are a lot of activities, and as well as the more practical and sensible ones, the neighborhood watch, the people of the council. All of that have given you a sense of community. And now you feel that you have sorted the latest of those issues. It's been quiet on the kindred front in your domain. No one is making much of a fuss because right now, unless you're Camarilla, you're not having a bad time if you're a vampire in Bristol. But you just had that conversation. The artwork is done. The sculptures are set. The boundaries have been set, and you can put that to rest. And now you have the rest of the evening for the four of you. You are in HQ. What is it that you're discussing? Because I have an idea, or five.
Well, I think if I haven't seen everybody like in the last sort of day or two, I'll just ask how everyone is. I'll ask Matilda how the practice is going.
You're muted. Okay, sorry.
Oh, shit.
No. Yeah, you're muted. Okay.
Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah, no, we've got some bright kids working.
Do you need some criminals now then?
Yeah, could get me some of them.
No,
seriously. If
or let you know where to look to see what.
I mean, if you have any friends who are in some trouble, then send
I'm not sending my
friends. Don't
I'm
actually say go commit a crime and then come to me, because that's too much.
No, it's more like, I don't know, competition, right?
Yeah.
Also, though, I'm gonna come to you, but if I come to you because I need you, I don't know if I want the kiddies. I probably want you to do the job, right?
Okay. I mean, I might just for a laugh for like 5 minutes and then I'll kick them off.
What are you doing to me?
Just to see your face.
Tell you what, you're not going to want to see that face. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, all right. How are you?
I'm all right. I was practicing a new song the other day, Carl. You'll be pleased to know.
Good. I can get you some. I can get you some very believable witnesses, should you require them, Matilda.
And how are you then, Carl? If you're drumming up witnesses,
Well, I'm sure I can persuade people that they want to help. But I'm very glad to hear that you have a new song. Perhaps you could play us for us later. That would be
sure.
Marvelous. Yeah.
Sure.
We can work it into the next communal get-together, perhaps.
I don't know whether we can or not.
No?
No, it's nothing else matters than Metallica.
Right.
If you're Shakespeare, does it?
Well, it's not all Shakespeare,
Is it not? I
No,
thought all the things we've done were Shakespeare.
No. Well, you did miss a few, but we have been doing some more modern things lately.
Oh, right. Well,
as well.
probably right then, isn't it?
Mm,
That's good because I was looking forward to that.
good.
Drumming it up.
All right. Well, yeah, we can listen to that later. That would be splendid.
So, Janice might want to bring up something that has been bugging him for the last 5 years.
He might. He's actually very confused at the moment because he doesn't know what anyone is talking about.
Yes, exactly.
He's been ripping from one to the other, waiting for something to make sense, but they've just been talking nonsense as far as he can tell. But yeah, so he'll say, "Well, good. I'm glad that we've all you've done that business that you've done."
A Metallica fan then, Janice. Excellent.
I have no idea what Metallica is, unless you
band,
mean
isn't it?
a form of craft.
No, it's a band. It's
A band?
Yeah. It's a band, isn't it?
Oh, I see.
A musical combo, perhaps you'd know it as.
Am I right in thinking?
It's a quartet, I think, isn't it, Mikhailo? Four members?
You've been, well, doing some kind of political. You've been, yes, you, Matilda, yes. You,
Talking to Carl. No, I have.
no. What? Yes. How is that? How is that going? Are you?
It's going. I mean, we've got elections in a short while, so it's a bit up to my ears with it, but it's looking all right.
And if you are successful in those elections, I assume you'll be in a better position to investigate business at the higher end of the Anarchs.
Yes. Are you? Yeah. What kind of business?
Janice,
Oh.
we talked about this.
Well, we have talked many times, but nothing has changed, Carl. That's the problem.
No, I understand.
He's still walking around
Oh
as if
my
he's
God.
innocent.
Is this Roger again?
Yes, well,
Janice.
unless you're going to tell me that something has changed, then of course it's Roger
Well,
again.
5 years have changed. 5 years have gone by, and nothing's like it's a dead fish, Janish. It's just
A dead
Oh.
fish.
okay.
A dead kindred, to be specific.
It's a dead. It is.
Yes, a dead
We don't-
kindred with a devoured soul.
Do you have any more evidence? Do you have anything new?
You are the lawyer, Matilda. You are the one with the contacts in the Anarchs, and so I'm looking to you.
Isn't part of your job manufacturing evidence?
Me? Yeah, but
They're a lawyer, that's what they do, isn't it?
Well, that's why I'm offering you witnesses,
But-
Matilda. I mean, if you need them.
oh,
I'm
okay.
sure we can find
you want to
some.
give me a witness that says, "Oh yeah, I stood by while Roger Diablerized fucking whoever his name was."
Well, I'm that witness, I suppose.
I reckon you're.
Yeah, but it's different. It's different because it's a vision. We weren't there.
No, we weren't there. But
I understand that the others will not appreciate the validity of Carl's vision. They will not see it for what it is. But that is why, knowing what you know, Matilda, you should not rest. Especially if you are then in a position of strength, where others will be looking up to you. Surely you
Yeah.
cannot feel comfortable serving such a corrupt individual.
We don't know anything. We don't know that he did that, Janish. And
Carl knows, and I believe him.
well, I know
Carl,
what
do
I
you
saw.
believe 100% that what you saw was real?
I believe nothing 100%. I suppose it might have been him.
Okay.
But there are differences. I mean, as Nagisal well knows, that There are disciplines that can make one look like somebody else.
Right, there are.
That can fool the naked eye. My
It was not
feeling
the
was...
naked eye you used, Carl.
No,
Yanish,
it wasn't.
Where is the motive? Why would he do that?
Why would he eat some poor Ventru what he don't care about?
Especially when he hasn't. There's been no crime like that for the last 5 years. So did he just diablerize someone and then just wipe his hands and say, "That's me done"?
You know what? You know what the problem is?
Well, there are many problems, Nanjazal, but please, what is this?
Well, it's what you said. There ain't no motive unless we're looking at this the wrong way, right? So we tried looking into Jonathan. We didn't get too far. I reckon. Is there some way in which it would in which it would benefit Roger to have committed this diablerie on Jonathan rather than just killed him, right? Because it's two different things. You must be if you're right, you must be getting something out of it, right? And so there's got to be some way to know that. Maybe Carl had another vision. You might get more information.
Yes, perhaps we need more of your visions, Carl. They might lead us to the truth.
Well, since that vision and since studying with Annie, the visions seem more, a little clearer sometimes. That doesn't mean they don't mislead us.
Well,
but
yes.
I don't know. I would be loath to try and have a vision about something I've already had a vision of. I don't know that will help. I don't know that I will see anything new.
I know disrespect, obviously, Carl, but the only piece of evidence we have is your initial vision. And
that's right.
If we get another vision, it's not what was necessarily what was in the vision. The problem is the fact that it is a vision and nothing else.
Mate.
So if we get another one, yeah.
Well, you did say that that nothing else has happened for the last 5 years, but time moves differently for us after all. I mean, you could say that if someone were to do this once every 20 years for 200 years, that would be a spree.
What if, mate, do you know where Jonathan lived? Could you find out?
I think so. Yeah, I could find out.
I just wonder if I go break in and find out stuff. Like if no one's been there since it's happened.
Carlos, would we know if Jonathan's house has been shut down or whether people still live there?
I mean,
we have been investigating.
No, Jonathan. Yes, well, you have been investigating until you were told not to investigate anymore, and then Janice has been investigating, and
so
Carl has been helping him, and then the two of you have been getting into trouble. And you do know for a fact that Carl, know for a fact that the property where Jonathan Fowler lived is owned by Agnes, Martin Fowler, and her sire, she owns the property and she has been repurposing it. She is the sister-in-law of Mary.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, it's been put to use. It's not like it's abandoned or whatever. Everything, all of Jonathan's possessions have been taken back to the Netherlands where Agnes is. So that's a dead end.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other thing is, I mean, you could. I'm not sure there's anything else left there. The other thing is, for the last 5 years, you've been investigating this, and it's actually a miracle that no one's found out that you've continued to investigate. And I'm worried that if either of you or anyone makes a very visible move in pursuit of finding out more, especially if it's to incriminate Roger, I don't know if that's the smartest idea.
You may be right.
I mean, you can, but if you're going to
So you think we should be more subtle?
What about...
Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I'm thinking
it's difficult.
Do it at all because
I've been extremely subtle, I think, whereas Yes, I've been trying to keep it on the down
What
low.
What about Teach?
Teach will tell you the same that everybody else.
No, I don't mean for information.
Oh, okay. Sorry. You're doing role play.
Yeah, sorry, yes. Yeah.
Sorry. I thought you were asking me. So what about Teach? Is like.
So, around about the time when Jonathan was killed is around about the time the whole world went to shit, right?
Yes.
Since that time, forgive me, mate, the Anarchs, they've made out like bandits, right? But Teach is on the cusp of being something of a power broker in this deal. So, it strikes me that if we offer him this as a, a carrot, that might be something if he could leverage and find out about it, that'd give him the power he wanted to sway things in his way.
Interesting. Very interesting. It's worth noting, of course, that at the time the diablerie happened, the Camarilla were actually in a position of strength, for they were recruiting from the refugees.
Right.
And it was, in fact, everyone else that was concerned that the Camarilla will become dominant. And since that time, that murder and so forth, one way or another, it is in fact the Anarchs that are now in a position of strength, and the Camarilla who are suffering as a result. Now, I'm not saying that everything was around this one death, but you ask what Roger Smith has to gain, and I would say that whatever actions have been taken may well have led to the Anarchs gaining this strength in Bristol.
But if you want to take any action, direct or indirect, against Roger, strikes me, you need someone that ain't us, that's got more protection. Now, forgive me, Carl, but the Prince don't seem like the right guy. Teach does seem to me like a man who understands how politics works.
And too well, one might say.
And is got enough favours as a master of trade to get himself whatever protection he needs to look into this, or to give that protection to us.
Well, we're in a triangular relationship here, and what's always happened in the past is because the Camarilla was perhaps slightly higher, slightly more of a top dog than the other two. The other two had an agreement and banded together to make sure that their power didn't grow too much. And with the realignment, it seems to me that the Autarchis and the Camarilla should make the same agreement to not allow the Anarchs to run away with the city and rule it outright.
Now, it's possible, of course, that there's already conversations being had. But I think, Carl, because you've had a vision, and from what Janusz tells me,
I've had a few, but
but that's information that's being, that can be relied upon, right? Mm-hmm. So that is information Teach is not going to be in possession of.
No.
Now, if he's anything, right, he's a businessman, so he's going to be happy to trade for favors. That's his bread and butter, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to think about it, what the proposition is. But it seems to me like that creates a gateway for you to investigate this, what don't exist for now.
If we were able to persuade Teach that there was some value in this,
right,
he would possess the contacts and the power to find out things that we cannot.
Right.
But Carl, you say you had other visions.
Well, I've had a few in the last few years. Nothing really of any bearing on this, though.
No, but I'm always keen to hear about them if you've...
Well, I've told you about most of them. I think all.
And yes, sorry, and Carl has shared the visions. This is for the audience. That's why I'm interested in those visions that give Janice the certainty that the person that was brought to, let's call it air quotes, justice as the culprit that diablerized, again air quotes, Jonathan Fowler, you are convinced. You have actually you have actual proof that was tried. Someone tried to push as that person maybe not being innocent, but definitely not guilty of the crime.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, he's a patsy.
A patsy. Thank you very much, Josh. Because English.
It was Nosferatu, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
I didn't. He was so ugly that I didn't shed any tears. However, I did know that he was innocent.
and all the visions that Carl has had, this is something I probably didn't tell you, Peter. None of them give you any definitive proof that Royer did it, but none of them absolve him either. You know, they're just not related. So Janice is free to feel however he likes on the matter.
Cool.
Just clarifying that little bit of information for you and for our audience.
Well, do you want me to see about setting up a meeting with Teach?
Teach. I mean, if you go to him and say that, yeah, Carl had this vision.
I ain't gonna say Carl had the vision. I'm just gonna say I got the information. He wants to find out where I got it from. That's a different kind of conversation. But I'm betting the idea, from whatever mechanism, that Roger had something to do with Jonathan's death is going to be enough to get Teach on the hook.
I agree.
I don't think we should say it's Carl, because otherwise we don't know what Teach might do.
Exactly.
Well, that's another conversation, and that's other favors, other information,
Right, exactly.
and more to be gained. We don't want to give him everything at once. He's a businessman.
Right, exactly. So he might be going to want to know about the proposition, but actually laying it out to him in terms is, you have access to finding out about the viability of this, what we don't have. So either you can give us the access, we can find out for you, or you can take it in its current form and do something itself.
I think this is a good course of action. A way to make some progress that we have been unable to make in a long time.
Yes.
Can you make sure? Is there any certainty that Teach will not tell other people where he got that information from? Because if it comes out that he got it from you three or from us four, it's not particularly good for me.
Certainty is a difficult thing when you're talking about vampires and politics. But what I would say is, he does not gain very much by giving away his sources. So, is there a possibility someone else could offer him a better deal? Maybe. But no one else has got this information. We're the only folks who got it. And he's very unlikely to ask me my source, because he knows how we operate. He knows me well. So, I don't think it's a guarantee, but I don't think it's likely neither.
Also, Nanjazal is one of his. If he has the information from her, he's not going to want to reveal that to anyone else. He will not want people going after the Autarchis. It's in his interest to keep it secret. Until he has evidence, of course. Then, well...
It's a question. Different. Am I telling him this is a proposition coming from the four of us? Or am I keeping the three of you out of it for now? Because he might respond differently to both things.
I would ask that you keep me out of it at least.
Easily done. What about you, Carl?
In or out, I don't see a difference for myself. However, I mean, you have a relationship with Teach. It's better that you go. I mean, I don't mind going if you want me to, but you know, it's better that we just give him this information and tell him as little other information about our sources or anything until we need to, because then we can get something else out of him in return.
And I'm best off just telling him this is information I've come into receipt of, and not saying it's now with all of you.
Absolutely. What you would say would be a reliable source.
Of course,
yeah, and then go from there.
Yes, we'll be guided by you on this, Nanjazal.
You know his ways.
I reckon I do. All right.
Yes, and also, Matilda, I spoke to my sister last night, and she wanted me to give you her best. It was our birthday.
Oh, how is she?
Well, she's been better, sadly.
What's going on then?
I think she feels neglected in Paris. My family member who is looking after her there is often away, and so.
Does she have any plans?
Do you want to get her
on
back here? Then?
Well, she is doing good work there, so I think her work is all right, but everything else is suffering slightly. So I was wondering what could be done to cheer her up.
It's a good question because people do funny things when their mood ain't right.
That's my thought.
Well, if there's anything we can do to assist you.
Well, when I speak to her next, I'll ask. Obviously,
I'm going to hobble forward with my cane to get a bit closer to Carl and put a hand on his arm and say, "Happy birthday, Carl." Happy
well, thank you. As you know, it is my double birthday, or was yesterday. Both my birthdays.
Did you receive a postcard?
Or something?
Two. He received 2 postcards. One that said "Happy Birthday" and one that said "Happy Death Day." Sometimes Hero changes it up. Sometimes he just sends the one with a "Happy Birthday" / "Death Day." This year was slightly different with 2 postcards.
And he has sent one of those ones in the past where if you look at it at a different angle, it was birthday, death day
yes,
as well.
yes,
Like,
he has done many, the shimmering ones that you tilt the angle and it changes like the little, or the kitty looking sideways and then looking in front.
Yeah, exactly.
Carl.
Like with a noose and then like in a crib.
Yeah.
Carl, your sister, you said she's doing good work in Paris, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But then she do all her work on the internet.
Well, our family is originally from France, as you know, and some of our holdings in the States are there. The French way of doing things is still a little arcane in some ways, archaic perhaps, in that things. And given our problems of the last 5 years, I would praise this eventuality that they don't allow things on the internet. They do things on paper still.
Well, if she's miserable, have you tried asking her what she wants?
I did, yes.
What will she say?
She said she wanted to know when Angelique was back next, so I found it out for her. And I've left her a message.
All right, well, let's hope that's
a start.
There's a star in it, yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well,
Do you think she will be happier closer to family?
She has some family over there, but I don't know that she's that close to them. I may have to visit. We shall see.
Or perhaps she should come and visit here.
yeah.
Perhaps
She can have the boat tour and everything.
I'm sure she'd love it.
Yeah. It's really good.
Yes, quite. Getting that salt water on her beautiful Chanel dresses.
What's wrong with it? Well, she can wear a different dress. She hasn't got to wear nothing fancy. I mean, you can...
Christine not wear something fancy. Do you know my sister?
No, I don't know her. I mean, you met her.
Well, you have met her. You have met her, yes. And I
You
can't
can play
say
her your new song, Nanj.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
definitely.
Why don't you invite her over to the theatre where you let me play the main song, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, I told her I could fix your problem.
Sounds as if she may be a little lost, Carl.
That's
What
true.
you say?
Well,
That's true.
the best thing,
These things aren't easily fixable, but we'll see.
best thing when you're lost is find a purpose.
Hmm.
That's what I always think.
I'm sure you can find a way to redirect her energies, Carl.
Yes, I can certainly try, and I certainly shall try. We shall see how it goes. These things need to be done gently.
Yes, quite so.
Well, and with that, the conversation slowly draws to a close. And each one of you go about your business for the night. And we will go to a break. Now, I wanted to give out a massive shout out to Sam for helping me with the Chronicle every time. So I hope our followers, listeners, and patrons especially are satisfied with the vote that was put for you guys, and very quick turnaround from Sam. Specific places that now we're gonna fuel with a little bit of juice as the new Elysiums of Bristol. So, players, you have the ghouls to thank for the 3 new Elysiums in the city. Now you have 3 nice.
Thank you.
That is a result of a vote.
Personal
Yeah,
favourite
Tobacco
one.
Factory is awesome.
It's great.
Yeah, it's
Excellent.
rad.
Tobacco Factory, the Hippodrome, and oh my god, I ran out of.
Motion.
Hippodrome, where I'm spending all my
No,
money.
and motion. Yeah,
Motion,
motion. It was motion. Yes.
the
The thing is that Sam had sent like two lists, and then we settled for the bottom one, and I was reading the wrong one. So thank you very much, Sam. You're awesome. And you're great. Thank you very much, patrons. And if you want to also play a part in what happens in this story, well, become a patron. Check out Blood on the Thames on Patreon, Blood on Severn now. But it's just, we're trying to rebrand. Just give us a second. There is a pandemic going on. This is hard, okay? There's another shout out I want to give, and this is to our very own and special, lovely Phil.
Hey, hello, Phil.
Hello, Phil.
Oh, I lost the name of it. He is in. No. It's like, had it on my phone. Guess what ran out of battery as I was charging it. So don't worry. There is a shout out for Phil. He's running. I think he's in Capricorn. One of the streams. He's running a game. I will find the details and do a proper shout out at the end. But stay tuned and go and check it out. And actually, Phil should be in chat wielding his masterful moderator sword. Ask him directly and let him know that you want to see what he has in store for you guys, because that is one hell of a friend and an amazing role player. Do you guys have any shout outs you want to give? Well,
Nope.
It is 8:45 p.m. UK time. We will be back in 15 minutes. So see you at 9 p.m. UK time. Until then, ta-da! Hello and welcome back for part 2 of episode 1 of this second season of Blood on the Severn. And now that I have power in my phone, no longer ran out of battery, I decided that it would be a good opportunity to give a proper shout out to our very own Phil. He's going to be running the spy game in Capricorn Cross, Capri's House of Games. So look for the information in the chat and look for you can see more of Capricorn House of Capri's House of Games at Capricorn Cross on Twitter. The spy game, January 14th at 7 p.m. Phil is going to be running it. Tune in. Now, back in Vampire Game in Bristol, 2017. After the conversation the coterie had, I think it was agreed that Nanjasel would approach Teach.
Yep.
Would you like to jump into that scene then?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, cool. So, securing
Nanj.
sorry.
Nanj, before you go, I think it might be interesting. It's a power that it might be difficult for you to do this, but if you trust me, if you take a little of my blood, then I might be able to listen in on your conversation.
You want me to drink your blood? You're having a laugh?
Well, just a little, just a drop.
What? What?
Do you not trust me?
Well, I don't really think it's an issue of trust, is it, Carl? I mean, what? Sorry. My mouth has got filled up with all the things I want to say.
Say them.
If you want to know what happens, why don't you come with me? That's easier, isn't it?
Well, I would like to come with you, but
what?
it was agreed that I wouldn't.
It's your choice. You can still come. I mean, the answer to your question, by the way, is no, I'm not going to drink your blood.
Oh, that's a
You're
shame.
my mate and all, but it's still weird. And
It is weird, I suppose. Yes, it is.
yeah, it's weird. And just also, just, you know, with what's the right word?
I don't know.
With respect, right?
Respect.
With respect, you're still a Toreador, aren't you? So you're good at getting people to do what things you want. And I don't feel like me drinking your blood makes that less in my favour, does it?
Well, I would never ask you to do anything that you didn't want to do. But yes, if you feel like that, why don't you meet in an open place then, so I can see you?
Well, I got to be where he tells me, ain't I? I can't say to him,
yeah.
"Boy, Teach, not meeting you in your house or wherever we're going. You've
Okay.
got to come outside." That's probably, that's like bait, isn't it?
Well, I don't want to get in the way of the Autarchus. But on the other hand, I mean, what I was saying about the factions, maybe I should come because we.
But
can
don't
talk
you
about
trust
that
me
as
to
well.
tell you what happened?
I do. I absolutely
Don't
do.
seem like it.
But-
What I'm saying.
No, I completely do.
Mm.
However, I feel that I have a good eye for what people mean behind what they say.
I think that's true.
Mm.
Which is why I don't want to drink your blood.
Understood.
So you could come with me.
All right, I'll come with you then,
All right.
if you wish.
So can we have made disappointment for the two of us?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Nanjasel
We're off to see the Teach.
and Carl are off to see Teach. Teach, the master of trade, leader of the Autarkies. So his assistant, Carolyn, will make an appointment for the two of you. It's going to be near the SS Great Britain, which is sitting squarely in Autarkis territory in Pike Island.
But I have the boon. I own
yes,
the boon
yes.
which allows me to.
you can move freely in that area. That's why that's why Teach chooses it, because he knows that you don't need to meet in any of the Elysiums or to make special preparations. You're allowed to traverse Autarkis territory, so it's easier to make the appointment happen where everybody can go immediately. So a few nights after your conversation, so we're still 3 to 4 days away from the spring equinox celebrations. Carl and Nangisel find themselves in a small pub that Nangisel would know is owned by Teach, and the only people that are here are either Autarkis themselves or ghouls of Autarkis. And of course,
And Carl.
and Carl. Patrons of the pub tend to the pub seems to be full inside, so most people that walk around, it's a very small pub, people that walk around might find a table outside, and the weather is nippy but nice, so there will be some mortals outside that are unaware that behind the door in the bar and around the tables there are conversations happening.
Okay.
Teach is at a table in the end on a corner.
Okay.
Sitting by himself. And Caroline shows you to him. So Teach is a man, probably in his late 30s, maybe early 40s. He has a tangle of very dark black hair and a very mean expression that is he has a very bushy beard that does nothing to hide his frown.
Okay. Oh, okay. So, sorry, am I expecting? Does he look like this normally, or
Yes.
does he look like he's annoyed?
He looks as he usually does.
But it's not okay. It's not a special kind of annoyed.
No.
That can make me run in the other direction.
No.
Okay.
Especially because being a Bruya, he doesn't
Annoyed.
throw tantrums. He bulldoze things.
And I'm dressed to fit in. I mean, obviously, I've had a look.
Yes, I mean, I'll have told
I
you.
know what this place is like, and I'm not about to.
It's not. Yeah, you don't need to super dress down. Casual will do.
I'm dressed like I normally am.
Yeah, works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be wearing my Depeche Mode T-shirt.
Unlike Nangisel's, yours does not have holes.
No,
So.
no, it's ironed.
Yours is probably some crappy replica. It wasn't the real thing.
Oh no.
No.
Mine is the one that everybody wants.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
But it's ironed.
Yeah, it's ironed. Yeah.
Which defeats the purpose of a Depeche Mode T-shirt, but nonetheless.
So I will.
No.
I will to slide into one of the seats that Caroline's showing us to. So I'll be moving over, so there's space for Carl.
Yeah.
And I'll say, what do you teach?
Oi.
Maybe.
So what do you want to talk about?
Well, I guess first things is how happy are you for us to talk here? Because this is a somewhat delicate matter, and I'm just checking in with you before I start opening my mouth that you're happy for anyone in here to hear what I'm about to tell you.
Delicate. Good word.
Delicate, you say?
Right, delicate.
Well, depends. How important is it to me?
Well, I think it's an opportunity for you to flex your influence.
Yes, it seems to me that the Autarkis are on the up. The Camarilla is falling and the Autarkis are rising.
There's
However,
an opportunity here for this.
exactly. But that said, I feel that we need each other. Because whichever one of us is fighting for the bigger scraps, the Anarchs are currently very much the top dog in the city.
Well, I got to part with his information, but it's information no one else got. So currently it's at a premium.
And it also is embarrassing for the Anarchs, to say the least.
How big is it?
Pretty fucking big.
It looks
Let's
like
just say it involves the top of the tree.
you do see that you pique his interest. So he gestures at Caroline. And then a couple of minutes later, the place is empty except for the three of you.
I'll nod. And I'll say...
The only other person besides the three of you is Caroline.
I mean, I'm assuming whoever he's left, he's fine having them there. So I'll say... Do you remember 5 years back, there was some trouble round about our domain? Ventru chap killed.
No, not
After
again. You're doing this again.
No, I'm not doing it. Well, I'm going to hear me out. It's related to this. So obviously at the time, we was looking into it. We ain't been looking into it since. But part of that investigation, we came into possession of some information that is probably more relevant now than it was then. Now, investigation got quashed, so we couldn't make heads nor tails of it. And that's part of the problem.
The investigation didn't get quashed. They found the fucker.
That's not true.
That's part of the information that we possess. Proof that it wasn't him.
Now, seems as if, based on what we've discovered, that the guilty party might have been old Roger.
He squints at that.
Now,
Go on.
5 minutes after this happens, all hell breaks loose. Suddenly, Camarilla's fallen apart. Everything's looking peachy for the Anarchs. Now,
And the investigation is forgotten.
or a patsy is wheeled out, and then that's it. Now, we ain't in a position to look into this no more, to look into him, to know nothing more about it. It strikes me that you're a man of means. You might be able to open some doors what we can't. Or even unofficial investigation. Something like that. Balance of power here makes a difference, right? That's the trade. That's how you do business. And the balance of power is shifting in it. And it's shifting in his favour. Now you're on the up, but it strikes me that there was some correlation between these things, then that might be useful to a man like you.
This. Okay, let me teach you a lesson.
Always happy to receive a lesson.
About consequences on the top of the food chain. And as he says that, he scratches his beard. And you see him going back into that default teach mode in which he will give you information that, for you to learn.
A teaching mode.
Yeah. Now.
I look like I'm paying rapt attention to him.
Yeah, I'm paying rapt attention to him. My senses are as heightened as they can be, and I am watching him for any doubt or any hiding anything at all.
So, let's say you're right. Let's say this piece of information you have is sound. and that Roger is behind this. How do you think that shakes things up? It's not just a power move. It's not just the Anarchs losing a little bit of face, or a lot of face. They have many representatives, and also the largest numbers. Camarilla and Autarkies combined are barely, if at all, a match, given the current state of affairs. What's more, you're telling me to awaken the dragon, because the only person that can fulfill the accords and punish Roger Bloody Smith of Diablerie is the librarian himself. Do you really want to get Polymathus out of his hiding hole and start killing?
I think that's a decision for you to make, you know?
Well, I wouldn't.
That's why I'm here.
I wouldn't want to do that shit. Have you seen what his child does? His child, Cassiel, gives me the creeps. And the librarian is at least 300 years older than him.
But the librarian set the accords, didn't he? Surely that's the thing he's going to care about most.
Yes.
He pitches up and tears Roger's head off. Then the accords is back in balance.
You don't get it. The librarian sets the record straight. But he's not a fine knife cutting through butter. He's a wrecking ball. He will destroy half the city if that's what it takes to punish Roger. And that might be what it takes to punish Roger. Because I don't think he would go down without a fight. You're talking about war.
What about a different approach then? You said Camarilla and Tarkus together is barely enough numbers to have a chance at them. But you have this information. You can pass it on to the Camarilla. They can get numbers here. If it's a matter of their, what do they call them? Traditions, or whatever it is. Yeah. Then they will have people sent here.
That's still,
right.
It's still
Well,
war.
The Camarilla would rather not have open warfare on the streets of Bristol.
No one does. That's bad for business.
No one wants that. However, it is a chastisement to hint that this might be the case to him, if the hint is subtle enough that he is unable to follow where it comes from. It might give him pause.
He's much too smart for that. He would actually prepare. And now that he has every single fucking Bruja except for the ones that I have with my brood, and every single gangrel except for that wanker primogen of one. Come on, that's a joke.
It's a fucking joke. But what
Yes,
about if it's not?
Like we lost some Bruja and some gangrel to the Anarchs just because they left the Camarilla, which made me bloody pissed. Right pissed.
Right, but Teach, I don't think this has to be a fight with Roger, right? We don't have... What we need is to find out what actually happened that night. And that might change things. It might change the playing field. Now, I don't see why we can't look into that on a down low. We would just need silent support from someone like you. That's all I'm saying. Now, obviously, there's a deal to be made here. Not expecting you to provide that sort of thing without recompense. But if we can find for a fact what happened, because on the face of it, right, why has Roger got any kind of need at all to go, not just to kill a Ventry, but to do this to him? There must be something else going on here, right?
Well, I don't know if you heard what they say. Very old kindred thirst for the blood of others. for the blood of mortals don't suit them no more, and then they take a liking to it.
Well, if that's the case, then you probably do want to wake up the librarian, don't you, before he starts murdering a lot of us. This ain't going to be no different if he has to eat us, does it?
Well, the only reason the librarian is the only one that can take Roger is because he's as old as him. Maybe a little more, maybe a little less. But what are a couple hundred years with a millennia behind your back? You're asking to take an elder of that caliber down by arousing another elder.
I'm saying we got to find out what actually happened that night, right? Okay. There's two ways to play this. If we find out it weren't Roger that was responsible, then we'll know something different. That might be valuable, it might not be. If we find out Roger is irrefutably responsible, then there's something else we can do. The point is, if we're right, there is something to be held over him that we're the only people that have got it. We found this out at the time 5 years ago. We ain't told no one. No one. The only people who knows about this, the two of us and you at this point in time.
I'm gonna have to ask you to make. When I say that, I just remember that I roll on your behalf.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you to make a.
Wait, do I have any powers of lying? No, I don't. Do I?
No.
I took all the powers of being invisible.
You could rouse.
I think I should do all the things to make this work, Carlos. Whatever the things that make this more likely to work, I'll do them.
So that would include things like rousing the blood for an extra 2 dice, because according to we're using the companion, the V5 companion rules for blood potency and rousing the blood and the like. So just give him a read. Bane severity, all those things, pretty interesting. So you can rouse the blood to get you can do a blood search. That's the proper term. You can do a blood search for an extra 2 dice on your check. It would be in this case, it would be, I think it's going to be manipulation plus subterfuge.
Oh, yay. Okay.
Unless you want to blag any other.
I mean,
weird.
No. I mean, that seems reasonable. I don't know. I can't remember what skills I have. But if I have skills with those things, then fine. And if I don't, then it'll be interesting.
It's okay. So far, your pool is 3 dice. If you rouse the blood, it's going to be 5.
Come on! Rouse that blood.
Okay.
Prepare to be punched.
Maybe spend some willpower.
Yeah, but wait, do I need to do that first?
Well, it depends. Depends how the roll goes.
Inevitably.
Yeah.
It depends on how you roll.
What do I get?
Oh my god. So far you have 4, 5, 6 successes, messy critical.
Oh shit.
Kind of critical.
Yeah, that's
You and your messies, honestly.
And your willpower reroll would only be sorry. That I had you on old hunger 2. Oh yeah, you're let's keep it on hunger 2. Let's keep it simple, no re-rolling. You have 6 successes, messy critical. You could re-roll one die.
I feel like I might need this willpower to respond to whatever he does. So I
Amazing.
Or not respond to whatever he does. Maybe that's
I mean, you do have a messy critical, but that means that you have 6 successes in your lie. Let me roll. Let me do a GM roll.
I'm sure Teacher's got terrible stats in this line.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. It's just really bad insight.
All businessmen do.
What, master of trade, reading people?
Nah. Who needs that?
Yeah.
Right.
It's a lot of commerce.
He's
and
a
nothing
bean
else.
counter.
Yeah, it seems that way. Like, I could be punched through the wall.
I'm concentrating very hard at this point to see if Teach buys this.
Carl will be able to tell you
God, I
just
hope
how
so.
angry he is before Teach hits you.
Yeah. He's gonna hit you in 3, 2, 1.
Here it comes.
Come back to the haven with my arm under my other arm. Like, okay.
Oh dear.
I don't know. I don't know if I want to send a picture of this roll
You should.
to Mitch so he can share it with the ghouls.
Yeah, you should.
Oh no.
So you have your 6 successes,
Yeah, I know he's gonna steamroll on me.
and you give him your lie, and he looks at you and he squints and goes like, "Very well. Let me sleep on this. Oh, I need you to do a rouse check because you did a blood search. Let's see if you get hungrier, and you don't. You remain at hunger 2.
I'd like to see what I think, to see whether I think he bought
Yes,
it.
please. Do me a resolve plus insight, because you have been doing this for a while. You've been like keeping your eye on him for a while, so you might notice any changes. Resolve plus insight.
I roll insight, don't they? And I
Insight, you put it on resolve. Are you gonna do a blood search? That will give you 2 dice.
Well, as I say, I have my height.
You have your heightened senses. You add your aspects to that because you're reading body language. So it's a mix of things, but I will allow it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Here goes. I'm not using a Raz check at the moment.
Okay, you're not doing a blood search.
Possibly use willpower.
Wow, look at another person having a messy critical. So that is 4, 5, 6 successes.
Fucking
I don't know. 6, and I can use some willpower. Can I?
You could. Yes, you could re-roll up to 3 dice, and if you get another 10 in those, then it is you can turn it into a normal critical with a 10 on the hunger die.
Okay, you know? I'll do that.
Okay, do a willpower re-roll, and number of dice to be re-rolled 3.
Willpower re-roll. Okay.
Oh, you're lucky. You got a 10 there.
Hey.
So that would be
That's
4,
8
5, 6, 7, 8 successes. Critical win. Teach seems to have bought it. As in, it sounded plausible enough, and it's just the two of you here, which was a weird proposition to begin. It's like, yeah, I have this information. We have been sitting in this information for the last 5 years. Yeah, this is critical enough. Why would you share it with Matilda, for example? That is the thought process that he has in his mind. Why would you share it with Matilda? She's an Anarch. That would be that could break your coterie. Silly. That would be silly, you know. And Janice is a librarian, so he's a library guy. He would take this information to the library. This is a mess. So in his mind, that lie seems fairly plausible. Of course, he doesn't want to give it away straight out of the bat. It's basically, he just says, very well. Let me think about it. How about we meet tomorrow in Avonmouth?
Sounds good to me.
I'll send someone to look for you. Give you a boat ride all the way up, so Carl doesn't need to go through the library process because he's using my people.
Sounds good. Right. Thanks, Teach.
Be there on the steps by Harbor Side at around 11 p.m.
Quite. Very quickly, Carlos, am I feeling anything as a result of the fact that this was a messy critical on my end? Yes,
you have succeeded critically, so I will not punish you on your roll, but you do feel that, you know, when you lie to someone you care for, and you have
Yes.
that little hint of guilt
Yes.
that you say. I mean, it's not that you love Teach or you have respect for the man,
Yes, I do,
and you're
yeah.
lying to him, but you're lying to him because you're trying to protect other people you care about. So it's a very, morally gray situation, and your blood loves morally gray, and if you are going against those you care about, if you are you are committing that sort of transgression, then that's what the blood is calling for. You are now under the compulsion of your clan transgression until such a time as you yourself gain a stain or make someone gain stains for going against their convictions or breaking chronicle tenets. You will be at a dice penalty to your rolls. All rolls that are not directly related to someone somehow breaking their convictions, transgression of their own beliefs.
Okay. Got it. Might have to expedite seeing Ruby.
Oh, poor Ruby.
So I'll think about that and I will let you know.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, you'll have it for a while. It's one of those compulsions that is not crippling. It's not going to take like 3 or 4 dice to your dice rolls. But it's going to be insidious, It's going to be messing with you until you do this. Of course, it's very easy if you go against your own convictions or if
Why would I do that?
or if you break the chronicle tenets and you gain stains without shielding them, then you immediately lose your compulsion.
I think there are many morally dubious people in this city who can help me out with this, so that's fine.
Okay.
I don't see why I should stand against my own convictions when they are so unwedded to theirs.
Okay, cool. So,
But yeah.
You leave.
Yep.
And let's jump for a moment to Matilda.
Yeah.
So Matilda's second room in her 2-bedroom flat has become base of operations for campaign Let's Get Matilda Elected.
Yeah.
And
So I can have little badges.
some of the guys show up. In particular, Murray, Squid, and Audrey. Audrey is Squid's autarky's girlfriend.
Okay. Is Mitchell there?
No, Mitchell is not around.
Right. Nice.
So the 3 of them show up. Murray is a guy of African descent.
Yeah.
He has very, very short hair, white shoulders, fine features, and his eyes are like a very hazel, like a light brown, like hazel sort of color. He was always with a smile. He's looking very lively.
Yeah.
Squid is a Nosferatu, but a young one. He's not hideous the way other Nosferatus are, but he I mean, you love him to bits. He's your friend. But his skin is, you can see the pipework behind the skin, It is a little uncomfortable when their skin starts being that, a little bit translucent and a little, and it looks moist or wet, but it isn't, and you touch it. It just looks rubbery and like gel, that see-through gel, not in a sort of very evident way, but it's slightly disturbing. That's what makes it, keep, And Audrey is a youngish girl. Well, she looks to be in her mid-20s. She has long brown hair with highlights, and she has tanned skin of Middle Eastern descent. Mixed Middle Eastern white descent. And she's as usual wearing very simple clothes, but that flatter her figure. And she's the first one to say, I don't know why I'm so excited. I don't vote in this election because I'm not an anarch, but you have to see what Frankie did for you. And Squid turns around and says, like, well, we have made you like a little banner, and I think we have the slogan for your campaign.
All right, go on.
Okay. Then he gets very nervous. He opens the laptops. He hooks it up to the little projector. Opens the PowerPoint.
I'll sit there
presentation.
Encouragingly, nod my head.
And Murray looks at you, looks at him, and says, "Oh boy, you're gonna love this. And if not, I'm gonna love this."
I was just gonna whisper, but am I really?
Well, I don't know, but he's damn cute. And he turns around and says, like, well, I think the slogan for your campaign is "All is Wells. Vote for Matilda." And there is a very flattering picture of you looking like sideways, but like
no, like one of those campaigns.
Pensive, very campaign-like, looking very pensive, And it says "All is Wells if you vote for Matilda."
When did you take that photo?
Darling, I took that photo, says Audrey.
I don't remember that. I don't remember you taking that.
No, you didn't know I was around.
Right.
That's why it was the perfect
Subtle.
picture.
I like it.
Thank you.
Right, I'll turn to Squid and be like, that's lovely. That's really nice.
He is chuffed beyond belief. You see Audrey's face. She's she knows that her boyfriend is impossibly too cute to be Kindred.
Yeah.
And she feels like proud of her, of him. And also they say, well, we have everything in place. You are going to be running against only Felicity. Felicity.
No one else.
Well, not that I know of. No other Anarchs have been setting up their
It's just
names.
surprising with the sort of influx of other Anarchs we have.
But the ones, I mean, well, I think this is not a faction thing. I think this is a clan thing. Abruya, perhaps, but Gangrel, they don't tend to be involved in politics. Although I've heard about a weird one in the Camarilla that remained.
He's an odd one. He's all right, actually. I don't mind him.
Oh, you know him?
Yeah, no, he was part of we know when they all first came.
Oh, right. You were housing them, yes.
Yeah. Oh, he's all right. He's quite ambitious.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think this election is going to be a mess. I don't know. I mean, there hasn't been an election like this. Well, I don't know when was the last time. 10 years ago, they decided to do the new elections. Before that, it was sort of like the rule of the strong, You had Henrietta and having pulling people to her side, and there were a few others that had that charisma that she has. I mean, she's amazing, but she was more of a lieutenant of sorts. She's very, very passionate and so very, very feisty.
I don't imagine it's going to be. I don't know. They'll probably get a bit dirty. Well, especially since the last 5 years have been tumultuous. I think tensions are going to be pretty high.
Murray is the one that says that. I don't know if tensions are going to be high. I know that they are planning, and when I say they, I'm talking about the Representatives Council. They're planning to make it an involved thing that benefits all Anarchs. So, us...
As it should be.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going about it the right way. I mean, the way I heard it, what they plan is that, well, we are in BS3, right?
Yeah.
And I will go vote, and the options will be Felicity and yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wrong. The options will be Felicity and yourself for BS3. Also,
You can vote for any other.
Not for any other.
name.
Not for any other. I will be, for example, we will be voting for BS3, and also we will be casting our votes for our neighbor BS41, Rogerland, and also we will be casting a vote for BS13, our other neighbor.
Okay.
So basically, if you have a neighbor that is an Anarch, you also are in that election. So people who do not even know you will see your name in the ballot. Because that's the only way of making it more than like 7 people. Or 8 people per area.
I mean, if it was just BS3 voting, then I think I'd be fine. But this is.
That is exactly why a lot of the pull is coming from the Toreador. They have the most to lose. And I finally can say that because neither Mitchell nor Ruby are around. But I mean,
they wouldn't mind, I'm sure. But
yeah, right. Tell that to Mitchell.
yeah, maybe he'd mind.
That Toreador lover.
I mean,
And you see, and you hear Squid going like, sneakers. Like, literally.
yeah, quite literally. It was never going to be easy. I suppose it just means I have to make a good impression on, what was it, BS 14?
41, Rogerland.
41.
You're going to be rubbing shoulders in a campaign with Roger himself.
Is he up for? He's not up for
He's
election.
yes, there is one tokenistic idiot that he's going to run against him, I guess.
Really?
Well, maybe. I mean, I doubted that they will allow Roger Smith to run uncontested.
Yeah, but who is he? Who's?
No, I have no idea. I'm just guessing.
Can you find out? Oh no. Well, I mean, could you find out if there is someone?
Well, maybe. Squid says like I could try and find out for the forums to see what they say.
Just curious. Yeah. I mean.
And the other one is BS 13.
Yes, 13. Who's up for that?
BS 13. If you give me a second, how about it here? Oh my god, I forgot to filter this list. I can feel Sam face palming right now. So for BS 13 is Lucinda Brixtow is the current one. She's a Malkavian.
Right.
I don't know who's running against her. It's Lucinda.
Okay.
So you have the Baron on one end and the Jester on the other. And you see Audrey going like, be nice.
It's alright, they can't hear us. I don't think.
No, you never know with them.
You never know.
Never know with them, sweetie.
What do you guys think about Roger?
Audrey gives you a look saying, that is a loaded question, isn't it? Like, she was like, I'm in a house full of Anarchs, baby girl.
No strings attached. What is he? I mean, you don't have to answer it. I'm not going to force it, but I don't know.
Is it wrong if I say that he feels Camarilla? That he is he's the most Camarilla aspect of the Anarchs of this city. I get it that he had this idea of the anarchy, but the anarchy was like what, 700 years ago, 800 years ago? I don't know. He still is referred to as Baron, not as chief representative. And the only reason he's a chief representative is because he's a freaking legend. No, girl, no. He has these very old-fashioned and antiquated ways, and he wouldn't have anyone changing them. And the worst thing is, well, I don't know. I don't want to speak out of turn, but there are so many rumors of he's a very close friend of the prince.
They seem to have an understanding about the way that they work and the cooperation that they have.
It's more than an understanding, girl. They have a friendship that has been spanning centuries.
So you think it's a conspiracy of some kind?
Well, I would rather have them being lovers than being in cahoots, you know? But you never know.
I'm going to look at the other two. Do they seem like in agreement, or are they a little bit just
Maurice says, like,
listening?
I don't know. I guess I respect him, but not for what he has done now. You know, in the last 9 years he's been around. It's more the name of Roger Smith was always a name that was mentioned in awe and all the things he did, and I haven't seen any of those things happening, you know. And I don't want to pay tribute to a man just because he's old and he did something in 1455.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you shouldn't. You have to keep doing good deeds and keep doing good work. You can't just rely on a good name. Do you know if anyone else feels like this? I mean, you don't. I'm not telling you to name names, but I'm just.
A lot of people will say from you know, they see Roger as a messiah, like the bastion that can create a pocket of Anarch safety in the middle of Camarilla controlled Britain. I mean, that is a big title.
Yeah.
I like him.
That's good.
He spoke to me once.
What did he say?
He asked me what time it was.
What time did you tell him?
Well, the correct time.
Okay. Do you remember? I mean, it seems like an important conversation. Do you remember what time it was exactly?
Well, I was more surprised about the fact that a toreador would look at me straight in the eye and
don't say that.
Not feel like he's gonna retch or something.
Well, you have 2 toreadors here in our group. They don't retch.
One. Mitchell is Bruya.
Yeah, we have one. We have one.
Okay. Yeah, but still, at the beginning, Ruby also looked at me funny. We have talked about it, and she has apologized, but she confessed that it was difficult for her because she was not used to, and I was one of the few Nosferatu she had contact with. She hadn't had any contact with others before, so for her it was a little too much at the beginning, but now she's used to it. But now Roger looked me straight in the eye. He had never seen me, and then he asked me what time it was, and then he said thank you, and then he left. And he treated me like a normal person for a moment.
You are, and that's good of him. He has been around for a very long time, and I'd be very surprised if he hadn't learned that basic courtesy.
Well, not even in the autarkies you find those. Okay? Yeah. I will tell you that, says Audrey.
Yeah.
So what are your plans for this election?
Well, I mean, I should probably...
Murray says, I would recommend you rub shoulders with
That's what I was going
Roger.
To say.
I mean, it makes sense. A lot of people are in the BS41 area, not only because it's bigger, but also because that's Roger's.
Right. Well, let's try with the other domain first.
Lucinda?
Well, I mean,
really?
Just try with her first. And
you
then go on
crazy
to Roger,
like her, girl?
Well, I mean, I also want to have a practice run before I go and talk to Roger.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
And then you see sort of like Murray taking the lead of the task. It's like, okay, Squid, you're gonna go and find out who's running in each of and every one of the districts. And he was like, all excited. Yes, sir. Audrey, keep looking fabulous, girl. You are a Tarkus. You cannot get in this. You, and he looks at you. Talk to Lucinda, but don't let her drag you into her shit.
I won't.
In the meantime, will make sure that this amazing poster is only shared amongst the circles of people that need to look at it. Okay?
Thank you. I don't want my face plastered all around.
It
city.
can't
Thank you very
be
much.
plastered. Right? It has to be done
I know.
with a lot of, delicacy.
Yeah. All right. Okay. You have your task.
Okay. Then, go, Tin Matilda. Let's roll out.
We need to have a handshake or something.
And
Secret handshake.
and you say that, and Audrey and Murray look at you, and one of them squirms, and the other one like rolls his eyes and goes like, okay. But actually, Squid steps up in the middle and just extends his hand. It was like, oh, it was a joke.
Oh, you're so cute.
And he takes his laptop in his presentation, super proud, looking at his pen drive as they start making preparations for till Matilda runs for representative.
Cool.
Now, Peter.
Hello.
You are making the preparations for the equinox.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything in particular you would like to do? Any particular deity that you would like to honor? Any particular member of the Children of Summer that you would like to, make a little bit of a fuss of them being present, or maybe an achievement, someone to be, rewarded for their services? Is anyone being elevated in the internal echelons?
I think that if Ruby is going to come to the summer equinox celebrations,
Spring.
then certainly. Sorry, the spring. Manzel's just done it to me now, right? Then I think Janusz will make a point of welcoming her back, making sure that she's been missed, and that is a thing. I think Zane is probably going to be someone who will get some special attention as he's doing kind of continued good work.
Okay.
So
what are you doing to that effect? What do you want to do for Zane and Ruby?
So with Zane, I think it's that he will get to have a bit more of a special place in the festivities in terms of being able to lead things a little bit more.
Okay.
So I'll have like Evelina kind of coach him on his bit. But it's like a thing where you move from being in the chorus to getting a few lines of your own. It's like that sort of progression.
Yeah, like your first solo.
Yeah.
Okay.
But in Ruby's case, it's more just a thing because we're talking about kind of times of change and new things coming and that kind of thing that will kind of basically use that sort of theme to make a fuss of Ruby's return. I'm not going to go too heavy, but I will want her to feel like she's been missed and that she is welcome back. And I will almost certainly, if Mitchell is like hanging around in the background, I will definitely go and talk to Mitchell at some point because I do like a good Fury Frenzy in the celebrations.
Okay, so as you go to Evelina's room.
Yeah.
Well, as you go to Evelina's room, knock on her door, and she She gives you a very hurried, one moment. She comes to the door. She asks, "Who is it?" Like, without opening it.
It is me, Evelina.
The door opens, but only a little, and then she pokes out her head, and you see her like clutching like a towel or something to her. Yes, sorry, Janice. Do you need me now? What can I help you with? Can it wait?
It can wait a little, but of course, the moon will not wait.
Well, I don't pretend to be naked for a full moon cycle. And you see her like she's like didn't open the door fully. She's covering herself with a towel. Can you roll
Ooh.
wits plus awareness?
My favorite.
Sorry.
I said my favorite.
He should also know that the
No,
equinox
actually,
is about the
sorry.
sun, not the
Actually,
moon.
it should be intelligence plus awareness.
Oh, hang on a second.
Intelligence plus awareness.
Okay. Okay.
Her hair's not wet. Her skin's not wet.
Okay. So yeah, say.
And you cannot hear a shower running or a bath running.
So, Evelina, do you think there is anything worse in terms of an act, in terms of what might follow, than lying to me?
Janice, it's not a lie. I'm naked. I need to get dressed to help you with what you need.
You have recently discovered shame, then?
I don't know what you mean.
I mean that it is not normally an issue in the Children of Summer. We are not ashamed of our bodies. You seem to be ashamed of something, Evelina. And that concerns me, because we have a very important night ahead of us, and you have a very important role to play. I would not want you playing that role whilst filled with shame.
You see another hand come over Evelina's hand, holding the door, the frame, and she closes her eyes at the realization that this person has made themselves known, and slowly opens the door. Standing there, not naked because he managed to put his underwear on, is Sane. We're really sorry, Janice. This was Evelina's free day, and we didn't. It's my fault. It's completely my fault. If don't. I'm really sorry. I know this is disrespectful. I'm sorry.
Why have you been disrespectful?
Because
Why do you think this is disrespectful, Zane?
you see him struggling with the reality of the situation. He is in his underwear, talking to who could easily be considered the father or grandfather of the woman that is naked next to him, and he's having this conversation where he has to say, "I was disrespectful because we were having sex in your house."
Sorry, does he say that? Or does
He
say-
says he does, but it is painful to watch how uncomfortable he says, like, because we were having sex in your house.
So, in a place where we celebrate the old ways, and we celebrate gods of fertility, where it is our mission to restore life and bring back what has died, you think there is disrespect in a celebration of this kind. Let me tell you, Zane, there is no disrespect there. There is nothing you need fear there at all.
But also...
But then I'll turn to look at Evelina. I'll say, but to lie to me in my own house, to my own face, is another matter. And you will consider long and hard what you have done, and I will consider how best to teach you a lesson that you will not forget. And then I'll turn and I'll leave.
And with that, the door of the room slowly closes. Matilda's phone buzzes. It's Murray.
I will pick up. Is it a phone? Is it a call or a text?
It's a call.
Okay, I'll pick up. Hello?
Matilda, it's Audrey.
What happened?
Mitchell lost his shit. Murray's hurt. I think you have to come here now.
Wait, where are you?
We're at Mitchell's place. We just found out.
Where is Mitchell? Is he there at the moment?
No, Frankie had to hold him. I had to stake him.
What?
He lost his shit. Matilda.
Fuck,
Mitchell
okay,
Mitchell found his sire. Well, at least his head.
Fuck. Okay, fine, I'll come over. Yeah, I'll be over.
Be
in a
here.
second.
Come now. And she hangs
I
up.
will.
And that is where we're gonna draw this to a close. Oh my! Look at Alice going like, "Oh no!" That's supposed to be our audience's reaction.
Those 11th hour phone calls.
Yeah.
Love him.
Yeah. Thank you very much to my players for today. It feels good to be role-playing in 2021. For those of you who disliked the trailer of 2021, let me tell you, hopefully it'll get better. Okay?
And thank you, Carlos. Very
Thank
excellent
you.
work.
Thank you very much.
Lovely to be back.
So be sure to join us next week for episode 2 of season 2. So we have the 2-2. Also, do not miss this 14th on Capri's House of Games at Capricorn Cross in Twitter. Phil is going to be running the spy game. So make sure to show up and show him a lot of love. And we will see you next week. Let's see what happens to the people that ended up in a lot of trouble. Until then, take care. Good night.
Bye.
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 Nice.